Limoncello. What is it? A thing of extraordinary beauty. Welcome to Killian's Kitchen, and I am going to show you how simple it is to make limoncello, your own version of it. And it is a simple liqueur made from lemons, the rind of lemons, alcohol, sugar, and maybe a bit of water. Maybe not so much. So I was having dinner at an Italian restaurant in Mexico one night, as one does, and after the meal came this complimentary drink of limoncello. I tasted it and it was amazing. I called the owner over and said, where do you get this stuff? Like, it's not as sweet as limoncello usually is. It's usually too sweet for me. He said, I make it myself and I can control the sweetness. And I was like, you can do that? So he gave me the recipe and I couldn't believe how simple it is. And since then, I've been making my own limoncello from my very own lemons in my garden. Now, traditionally, this drink comes from the Amalfi Coast in Italy, and they use the Amalfi lemons. Those big wrangly lemons, but you can't get those here. So you can use any kind of lemon, of course, but I use the Meyer or Meyer, whatever, lemons from my garden. They seem to be the best. You can also get them from the grocery store. If you do, just make sure they're organic and that they don't have that beeswax they like to put on fruit to make it last longer. Not good. And so what we're going to do is we're going to rind these lemons and then soak the rinds in alcohol for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, depending. Now, basically, you need an alcohol that is going to extract all the juices and all the oils and all the wonderfulness from the lemon peels. So the stronger and more neutral the alcohol is, the better. So I'm using a 96%, which means it's 192 proof. So it's really strong and it's pure alcohol, doesn't have a flavor. But if you can't get this kind of alcohol, and Everclear is a good brand of it, this is something else, you can use vodka or, some other kind of grain alcohol. So for the lemons, just using this potato peeler, I'm just going to rind these lemons and pop them in a jar. Normally for a liter of the alcohol, I would use about 10 larger sized lemons. These ones happen to be a bit smaller, so I'm going to use about 15. So all you have to do is just make sure that you don't press too hard, and so that you get as much yellow on the other side of the peel as you possibly can. The white pith tends to be bitter, so you don't want that as much as possible. Now, moment. Okay, so that is the rind of 15 lemons in there. Or as I said, if you have big lemons, 10 would be sufficient. But you want kind of half the jar for a liter of alcohol like we're using. And we're going to add the liter of alcohol to our rinds over here, to our peels. And we're going to put this in a dark cupboard for anywhere from 5 days to a month. Basically, it depends on the alcohol. So this is the strongest alcohol you can get. So within 5 days, we're going to be good. It extracts the flavors and the juices and the oils really quickly. But if you're using something that's a little less strong than 196 proof, like a vodka or something like that, you may want to let it sit in there for at least a couple of weeks. And you can taste this stuff. And so there we have it, a liter of the strongest alcohol known to man with my homegrown beautiful lemons that have no pesticides, no nothing in them. And we're going to let this sit in a dark cupboard, covered of course, for probably a week or so. Now it's best to use a mason jar or something like that has a sealable lid. I don't have a lid for this particular vessel, so I'm just using layers and layers of cellophane wrap to make sure that it is properly sealed. And so now it's all sealed with my alcohol in there, the cellophane wrap on top, perfectly sealed. And I'm just going to let it sit there for about 5 days. I'm going to give it a shake every day. I'm going to come there and just shake it around a bit. And I'll check back with you in 5 days. Check it. 5 days. This stuff has been sitting in a cool, dark cupboard. I got a Christmas party to go to. I got to take some limoncello. So here we go. But first, from the last batch, look at that beautiful color. A thing of incomparable beauty. Now, if you made this with vodka or some kind of 80 proof alcohol, you would want to match the alcohol with water you're going to put in. So if you use the liter of alcohol, vodka, whatever, you're going to use a liter of water. But because I used 196 proof, I'm going to sort of halve that up. So I'm going to use, instead of the 4 cups that a liter of alcohol is, roughly, I'm going to match that up to 6 cups of water. And I'm going to halve that for the sugar. So I'm going to do 3 cups of sugar. Most recipes will call for more like 4 cups of sugar, but I find most limoncello a little too sweet for my taste, so I'm just backing off a little bit on the sugar. But first, here's a really neat little trick. I'm going to take my mixture, unearth it for the first time in 5 days. Oh my dear Lord, not to be messed with. And I'm going to pour the alcohol in a bowl and save the lemon peels. Now the first thing you'll notice is the lemon peels have gotten really quite brittle. But there is still a sizable amount of alcohol and of course lemon embedded into these lemon peels. Why waste it? So what I'm going to do is, along with my water and sugar mixture, I'm going to put the lemon peels in so that we extract that last little bit of alcohol and lemon rind from the peels. So in go the peels, and I'll set the alcohol aside. And now we're going to do 6 cups of filtered water, of course. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now for the sugar. I once thought I was really smart and organic and shit and tried to use brown sugar. Bad idea. Makes the color completely unpalatable. You have to have pure white sugar. So we're going to do 3 cups, which is half the amount of water. That's a lot of sugar. 1, 2, and 3 cups of pure white granulated sugar. Now we've got to get the sugar to dissolve. So we're going to turn the stove on. It's not for any reason, we're not cooking it or anything. The only reason to turn the stove on is to get it to dissolve easily. And we're just going to let that sit there for a few minutes until it kind of starts boiling, and then we'll stir it till it's dissolved. But in the meantime, prego. Okay, it's just about to boil. The sugar has all dissolved. The peels are sitting there basking in the glory of the sugar water. And we are going to turn the stove off. And now we have to let this get back to room temperature. We cannot add that to the alcohol right now at that temperature. Okay, the moment of magic. We're going to take the mixture of sugar water and rinds that is now at room temperature and pour it into a bowl through a sieve. And now we have all the peels separated, let them drain, all that wondrous alcoholic goodness. And voila! We now have our sugar water and our alcohol from before. A beautiful color. And we're going to mix the two. It's as simple as that. Now check out how the color changes here when you mix these two ingredients. It's a miracle of nature and alchemy. Now, time to taste. Wow, check that color out. Unbelievable. Oh wow, this is insane. And limoncello has to be kept in the freezer in bottles. And when it's really cold, like it comes out of the freezer, even more tasty. So all that's left to do now is to bottle. And I have some bottles pre-labeled, and using a little funnel, I'm just going to pour this incredibly beautiful mixture into these bottles. And just look at this color. Unbelievable. Effervescent. You probably don't want to fill it all the way up to the top because it's going to be in the freezer, and even though it's pretty much all alcohol, it might expand a little, so leave a little bit of space. And that's it, folks. 4 bottles of this incredible beauty that I have to show for the lemons in my garden, a $20-something bottle of alcohol, bit of sugar, and, well, maybe a little water. You will go bonkers when you make this stuff yourself and realize what you've been missing all along.